Jeshua. The miracle has already happened, dear friends. I am Jeshua. I am here with you to remind you that you are moving toward a future that awaits you, yet is already present within you. You are projecting yourself into the future, and at the same time, you are also moving into the past, returning to the essence of who you are and have always been. Becoming who you truly are is essentially a journey through time, but it is also a journey beyond time, an inner journey that cannot be measured in terms of linear progress. You have all become prisoners of the concept of time as it is conceived on Earth. It is very limiting to see yourself progressing in a linear process from A to B, where you become more, where you move forward. You are held captive and enslaved by the idea that you must keep advancing, and that there is always something more beyond the horizon. Of course, there is a process of soul development, but it is a process through which you remember more and become more aware of what you already are. The miracle has already happened. You are already here. Let this awareness sink in for a moment. You are a wondrous creation, in which inner consciousness is continually growing. The more this consciousness embraces everything you are, the more light will shine within the creation that you are. And this process actually takes place in the present, or rather, in a dimension beyond time. From a spiritual perspective, all progress is really about remembering who you are. But in remembering yourself, you also create something within time. For instance, you observe different aspects of yourself, your fear, your distrust, or your anger, with gentleness and compassion, with understanding and love, and in doing so, a new image of yourself opens up. You recognize your innocence, you recognize your depth, and with this recognition, you grow in awareness while simultaneously becoming more of who you already are. The love that flows within you, which belongs to your essential being, becomes more visible to the world, to others, and to yourself. So there's a process of growth, even as you already are it. The future is already included in your past. Let this awareness reassure you. There is no need to build, create, or construct yourself. You are already everything you wish to be. The only thing that matters is that you recognize this fact and that you stop struggling with life and fighting with yourself. In the human mind, the illusion persists that you are inadequate, that there is a lack to be filled, that something is wrong, that there is a failure. And you can find yourself very busy trying to resolve this lack, trying to correct it. You operate from the assumption that there is something wrong with you, and that something is missing. Do you realize that this initial assumption is not the right one? If you look at yourself this way, you are hopelessly entangled in a struggle against yourself. But if you can look at yourself with compassion and see yourself as a miracle in the making, then peace will descend within you. Let go of the idea that you are not enough in one way or another, that you are not complete, that there is something wrong with you. Know that you are unconditionally part of God, of creation, of all that lives. Let go of the search for completeness. This may sound absurd, because the search for completeness appears to be the very essence of the spiritual path. In reality, however, when you collide with life and with time, this struggle takes you further and further away from yourself. You always have the feeling that things should happen faster than they actually do, and so disappointment and frustration arise. Yet the miracle you are waiting for does not happen through time, not through effort, work, and struggle. It happens unexpectedly, all at once, when you realize, I am already this way, and it is right as it is. My being part of humanity with everything that entails. Feelings, thoughts, emotions, and moods, both light and dark. If you can look at everything with a smile, with warm understanding, or even with humor at times, then you come very close to the completeness intended in true spiritual learning. It is about flowing with what is, not opposing life, but allowing it to unfold naturally. This attitude is what leads you to your goal. Life itself wants to move in you and through you, and if you start from the assumption that life is good, that it tends toward completeness, then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to create it. It happens on its own. The only thing you need to do is release the illusion that you're not good enough, that there is something wrong with you, or that you need to work on yourself. I would like to invite you to join me in a visualization in which I will connect you with the symbol of the cross, an inner cross. Imagine a cross running through your body. Your arms form the horizontal beam, while the rest of your body forms the vertical beam. They meet at the center, at the level of the heart. In this image, the horizontal beam connects you with the visible world around you, here on Earth. It is your connection to the physical world, to the people around you, and to society. Then there is the dimension of the vertical beam, which rises from the crown of your head and extends toward the cosmos, connecting you, we could say, with the heavens, with the cosmic, the spiritual, with your soul. At the base of that vertical beam is the earth beneath your feet. The art of living consists of remaining, as much as possible, in the central point, in the midst of all the influences you experience and the choices you make. It is here, at the center of the cross, that the two flows naturally unite, where you are connected to your higher self, your soul, and to your connection with the earth, the vertical flow, and at the same time connected with life on earth, with the world around you, the horizontal flow. Try to observe within yourself where your consciousness most often locates itself in this image of the cross. Imagine that your consciousness is a sphere of light. Observe where it normally places itself, at the center, at the bottom, or at the top, more in the horizontal beam or the vertical one. Simply notice which image spontaneously emerges from where your consciousness most often resides, and observe the sensations you feel. Now imagine that your consciousness, that sphere of light, is completely centered in your heart, at the intersection of the two beams, and observe what this brings about for you. What might change in your way of being in the world? Could you do certain things differently, or relate to people differently? Discover what it takes to be fully centered in the cross. For some of you, it may be that you are too rooted in the horizontal arm of the cross, that your attention is absorbed by the affairs of the outer world, and you lose connection with your inner, cosmic channel. In the long run, this will make you restless, tired, and dissatisfied. Or it could be that you are sometimes too rooted in the vertical axis, that you live very much in your inner world, and that the flow outward is insufficient. When you are unable to express yourself adequately in the outer world, this indicates that there is not enough energy flowing outward from within. Try to sense how you feel. Imagine yourself at the center once again, and that being there, you are connected with your soul, with spirituality, and that from there you can sometimes perceive with great clarity what your path is. You have insights and intuitions, and this gives you a sense of joy and hope. The question that arises for you is, how does all of this translate into the world, into the physical reality you live in? And with this question, the issue of time also arises. The insights and intuitions you receive from your cosmic, vertical dimension are timeless, while what you encounter in the world in the horizontal dimension operates with time and matter, develops plans, and wants to see results. So imagine how you can combine both in the best possible way. When you are at the center, you are in your heart. From there, imagine being open to the inspirations of your soul, the gentle whispers that sometimes come to you and tell you what would be joyful and stimulating for you to do in life. Now try to receive these illuminations in your heart, and from there radiate them along the horizontal axis into the world. Perceive whether you can hold the light of your soul, so that the entire cross is animated by your light. Observe what you might need to remain true to these intuitions and to the light of your soul. It is important that you stay in touch with both your inner life and your outer life. These two dimensions must be in balance for you to feel truly fulfilled as a human being. But know that in the vertical direction of your soul, or your higher self, resides the essential truth that you already know everything you are. You are the miracle. You are part of God, unconditionally. Do not believe the duality of the world that tells you that you must become all sorts of things or improve all sorts of aspects of yourself. Have faith in the miracle. Recognize it in yourself, just as you can recognize it in others. The miracle of your own being, your own essence, is always present. Be faithful to this inner knowing when you step out into the world. In this world, there is a need for this intuition and for that flow of energy that comes from the dimension of the eternal, of the soul. This is always the starting point of true inspiration. Do not be afraid to let this flow enter the world freely. In this way, your soul manifests in time, in space, in matter, and this brings inspiration to you and also to others. The horizontal axis that connects you with the world often causes inner tension. You may experience pressure from the outside, making you think you have to do all sorts of things. It is a pressure that pulls you away from yourself and can push you to isolate yourself completely from the outer world, living mostly in your inner world, away from society. But the necessary art is to bring forth the light of your soul, remaining faithful to its impulses while staying connected with the external environment. Bringing forth your light is the greatest gift you can give to others, because in doing so, they too will be encouraged to do the same. Do not be afraid of your light. Stay in touch with your soul and also with the world, because this is without a doubt your task at this time. To radiate who you are into the world, not to withdraw from this world, but to remain in it and radiate your light. I thank you all for your presence. I am with you as a friend, and I stand beside you. With joy, I recognize your extraordinariness. Trust in everything you will do. Blu-ray Energy Alert. Ascension Symptom Update. Earth frequency, beloved and wondrous souls, blue rays, star seeds, lightworkers, empaths, angels and angelics. Have you noticed changes in your energy levels? If you've been feeling different lately, you might not be able to put into words what you're experiencing or feeling. You are not alone. You may be experiencing the following. Please consult a healthcare professional for symptoms, as not all symptoms are related to Ascension. And even if it is an Ascension symptom, you may still need support during the process. A deep longing for peace, solitude, and time in nature. An increased sensitivity toward people, environments, and emotional intensity. A fatigue or periods when the body requires more rest and integration. Internal tremors, inner vibrations, or waves of energy moving through the body, or extreme tiredness. An increased activation of the higher heart with greater compassion and emotional openness. A waking up to different aspects of your ascended self. A racing heartbeat or palpitations. A heightened intuition, vivid dreams, synchronicities, and inner knowing. And not being able to remember certain parts of your past. A different timelines opening up simultaneously. A increased synchronicities and manifestations. A feeling emotionally fragile, including sudden bouts of grief with no apparent cause. A slowing of motivation toward old goals, while your soul prepares for a new direction. A deep desire for freedom, from limitations, old identities, and what no longer resonates. The Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat and the sensitive soul. The Schumann resonance is the Earth's natural electromagnetic heartbeat, vibrating primarily at a base frequency of 7.83 Hz. Geophysicists study the Schumann resonance, created by global lightning resonating between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, to monitor global weather and climate patterns. The Earth-sensitive awakens. The resonance frequency is very close to human alpha and theta brainwaves, which are active in deep relaxation, intuition, and meditation. This phenomenon can cause sensitive people, such as empaths, intuitives, blue rays, and star souls, to perceive energetic changes within their bodies. These changes are a reflection of the Earth's biological and energetic rhythms. This sensitivity and connection to the planet are part of an enhanced access to the divine blueprint. That is, patterns of brain activation in specific neural networks that become more active. The Earth's electromagnetic fields are like a living language of creation, a rhythmic dialogue between our planet and the wider cosmos, sky and Earth. You have greater access to divine intelligence, a sacred power you are discovering that allows for deeper understanding and insight into your purpose and the interconnectedness of all life. It is a gift and a blessing. Creations for the tapestry of life. Enough with the cleaning, dearest ones. Many of you are uncomfortable with your current feelings. While some of you are quite happy, we address those who find life difficult, even frightening. Much of this discomfort is related to your experiences on Earth, in this life or in past lives. It is a pity, or something similar, that you continue to hold on to, despite all signs indicating that you no longer need to cling to that memory. That fragment of history is probably something you are embarrassed to acknowledge, and therefore release. Remember that you promised to experience 3D Earth in its fullest depth possible. And so you did. But you continue to believe that one or more actions were more than necessary to achieve whatever your goal was at that time. You may even have been praised for reacting that way, even though you were ashamed of yourself, both at the time and in subsequent lives on Earth, coming to believe that you had to atone for that terrible action before you could deserve joy and peace. Nothing could be further from the truth. You have never thought or acted in a way that cannot be forgiven by yourself or others. You are simply very good at completing your lessons in fear. If you had ignored the impulse to say or do anything that now buzzes around you as unforgivable or evil, you would have denied your third-dimensional impulses just as you are now denying the impulses of your new self. You could not have fully experienced 3D by tiptoeing through the fear and anger that dominated your 3D world, just as now you cannot tiptoe through joy and peace. Denying yourself joy and peace is no different from beating yourself up as an adult because as a child you stole someone's sand bucket. Your new self is not about first acknowledging how terrible you were in real life and then punishing yourself accordingly. It is about starting over without going back to moments in real life to figure out how you could have been a more loving person. You have cleaned and sifted through your past lives in real life for months, years, perhaps even decades. That phase is over. And denying yourself joy because you are yourself in real life is no different from punishing yourself for innocent childhood actions. Punishing yourself is a three-dimensional action. Loving and expressing yourself with love is a new self that you must acquire. Something you have already accepted, otherwise you would not be reading this and similar materials. What was no longer exists, including the need to continue reviewing your lives and your three-dimensional actions. It is time to focus on the future rather than lamenting the past. Your future is bright and joyful not only because this is the emotional foundation from which you now begin, but because you have released everything you needed to release. Your new identity is a blank slate. Allow yourself to accept this. Then set aside those fears that make you believe you do not deserve joy and peace because of what you activated in the third dimension. The third dimension no longer exists. Fear, anger, and the need to control others no longer exist. It is time to breathe a sigh of relief. It does not matter what specific events were part of your 3D past. They were all important requirements to prepare you for this transition beyond 3D. Forgive and forget your 3D past. It is over. Even if your 3D past was an important part of your 3D life, you are new and so is your world. The only beings who need to review 3D actions are those who have recently begun their journey toward a new essence. You have passed that point, just as you no longer need to read first-grade books because you have evolved to the point of stumbling over the short sentences of Dick and Jane books. And those who wish to remain in 3D never need to review any 3D actions because they wish to be fully immersed in 3D. For the first time in earthly eons, there are different levels of understanding and action. Those who wish to remain in 3D will not change their being. Those who wish to move beyond 3D will go through the same stages that you, on the front lines, have already traversed. And you, on the front lines, no longer need to clarify issues or apologize for your thoughts and actions. You are starting over, with love and peace, just as once upon a time on Earth you started fresh with a blank slate in 3D. So be it. Amen. What is the crystalline light body? The light body is based on a metaphysical structure. It is made up of the energy of the higher self, an existence beyond the physical self and the human body. It is the full incarnation of an elevated state of primordial consciousness, the spiritual awakening into a state of interconnected being. Associated with the energy centers, chakras, it is responsible for creating balance, alignment, self-healing, and complete transformation. The function of the light body is activated during conscious ascension in human form. It is the embodiment of spiritual evolution, mastery, and full self-realization. The human energy field consists of several layers: the etheric body, the mental body, the astral body, and the emotional body, as well as the metaphysical aspects of the crystalline light body. Beyond these earthly densities, and in a greater awareness of ascension, crystalline frequencies are activated within the physical form. Building the crystalline light body. In the current phase of collective ascension, ascending beings can hold up to 80% light in their cells while still inhabiting a physical body. The planet's ascension level has increased significantly, and the Earth's harmonics are changing and evolving rapidly. Over the next 20 years and beyond, as this crystalline ascension matrix becomes established within the Earth, individuals in the process of ascension will begin to notice many more physical changes in their bodies that will attune them to the planetary ascension energies. When the crystalline light body is in the process of activation, as many in ascension are now experiencing, the physical body will eventually no longer need as much food. Light, like sunlight, will be metabolized as a source of energy for the body. Individuals in ascension have the ability to attune to and absorb the light and healing of the great central Sunday. As ascending beings move deeper into these elevated earth energies, the physical body will expand toward higher frequencies. Physically, many will change shape over time. The metaphysical human being will, over time, eventually develop longer heads, similar to those of the Atlanteans and ancient Egyptians. This is due to the widening and expansion of the brain structure, in connection with the expanding energy in the crown chakra. The evolution of the physical human will ultimately lead to a taller, leaner, more androgynous form. Operating consciously in the etheric realms, their frequencies will function at much higher dimensional levels. The crystalline light body will be activated and fully managed by the 12 chakras of the 5th dimension. Walking on Earth as masters, those who ascend in future timelines will have full access to the light energy of Source, maintaining the self in optimal health and condition. Once the crystalline light body is activated, sincere practices of unconditional love are needed to maintain its elevation to the state of consciousness. The crystalline body is the result of maintaining a constant frequency of unconditional love. After healing every wound, purifying every thought, and releasing every judgment, the light body will ignite and activate. This state of being and vibration of the higher self allows many to achieve ascension and true enlightenment. Jesus Christ and the Buddha ascended in this higher human form here on Earth. The vibrational density of planet Earth was far lower than today's energies, But that did not prevent them from achieving this most elevated state of physical being, the expression of the metaphysical self. In their perfection of the human being, they became the reflection and example of divine source and showed the way to achieving this higher frequency within oneself. The teachings of both masters are true examples for humanity, illuminating the path to follow for oneself and for others. Neither sought followers, but rather guides who would reflect this reality of the higher self in the world. Ascension is the achievement of full cosmic consciousness. The activation of the crystalline body represents the highest level of the human body and its functions. The purpose of this activation is to contain higher frequencies of light. Mastery of the physical form and understanding of the teachings of a light body are fundamental elements for humanity's ascent. Those who ascend are reminded that we are much more than just physical beings. We are the manifestation of a vast universe that transcends human perception and understanding. In loving and devoted service to Ascension, curated by the Ascension Lightworkers, the 12D creators. When will you move to the next level? And the one after that? We are here for you. We are the creators. We are a 12th dimensional collective of non-physical beings, and we are here to help you. Yes, you are ascending. You are becoming more and more of who you truly are, and this process of ascension is conscious for those who are receiving this transmission. You have decided to undertake a conscious evolution of your being in just this way. Everything you are experiencing is part of a larger plan, devised by your soul. You are essentially your soul, and therefore all of this has been created and requested by you. However, because you embraced the veil of forgetting, you did not realize immediately that you chose every aspect of this life experience. Now that you are remembering how it all works and who you truly are, you can move more into the flow of your life experience by saying yes to everything. Now, when we tell you this, we also realize that there are some things in your life that you would like to see differently than you see them now. And we want to remind you that saying yes to everything as it is will be the first step towards seeing it differently, and therefore being able to have a different experience of that person or that circumstance. And then, since everything is constantly changing, anything you are experiencing can and will change, and it is more likely to change in the way you prefer. Of course, you did not intend to get everything you wanted all at once. Rather, you always intended to embark on a journey, and the journey you are on will always give you something of what you desire, provided you remain open and receptive and welcome what you have asked for. But there will always be more to experience, more to manifest, and all these desires you have tend to push you forward on your conscious ascension path. In other words, you want to know more. You want to experience more. You want to become more, and so you keep expressing ever larger desires for what you want to manifest and experience in your reality. All of this is part of the ascension process. The life you are living now is an integral part of your ascension process, regardless of how it may appear. There are always opportunities to forgive. There are always opportunities to release judgment. There are always opportunities to transcend fear. There are always opportunities to have more compassion and be more unconditionally loving. The life you're living now is there to offer you all these opportunities. And when you embrace the life you have, that is an excellent step toward elevating yourself from whatever you are experiencing to whatever awaits you next. And, we repeat, there will always be more. There will be more to desire, more to experience, and more to become. You will get there easily, effortlessly, and much more quickly by letting go of resistance to anything that scares you or makes you judge in this very moment. Remember, therefore, that you do not get anywhere by fighting against reality. And if there are things that are not part of your reality, but that you desire, the way to get them is to stop telling yourself stories like, I must be unworthy. I must be doing something wrong. I must have bad karma. I must have bad luck. All those stories you tell yourself do not serve you. But telling yourself the story that says, I have much to look forward to because I know there is still much more awaiting me, is productive. It helps you. It brings you closer to those desires. It is also an excellent practice for all of you to remember that you are meant to be works in progress. You are always meant to move from where you are to where you are going, and this too should help you make peace with where you are now, understanding that you are eternal beings and that you have all the time in the world to reach the next level, and the next level, and the next level, and the one after that. Very well. We are the creators, and we love you very much.